Hi guys! Okay, so today we have a rant video because that's just, my life is a whole mess and I am really pissed off about this, and I know making a video will probably not help, but I just need to rant about this. So the post office service here in my country is absolutely shit. It's horrible and everybody complains about the same things and everybody says that things are wrong, and we try and make things get better. We try to make petitions, we try to make I don't even know how the freaking name is, but we try to make things better, and apparently it ain't working. It ain't working, and things are still bad and things are still horrible, and we're paying for a service that is just completely crap. Yeah. Now I'm gonna start this rant by telling you about the most recent thing that has happened, which is actually what led me to do this video. I'm not waiting anymore because it's going back, but we'll get there. But I was waiting on a parcel that was coming from China, and it was about China or Korea. I'm not even sure where it came from. I think China, not sure, don't care. But I was waiting on a parcel with Korean skincare actually, and I was really excited about it because I heard great things about the things that I was trying, and I was really into and looking forward to getting my parcel. And I bought this on June 8 or June 9, I'm not sure, but the beginning of June. And at that time I didn't know that I was gonna change my address. I didn't know. So I put the address, my previous address, the address that I had of my other house when I lived in Kaldish, because I had no way to know that I was gonna move. Okay, so I knew that coming from China, the parcel was gonna take like a month, something like that. So that was fine for me. Like, I wasn't going to do any major changes in my life in 1 month, so I was good with that. So 1 month gone by, and at that time I was thinking that the parcel should be coming somewhere in the mail, and we're now heading to July. Around this time I decided that I wanted to change my address, that I wanted to come to Lisbon, I wanted to live here. It was around the time that I'd made that whole video about things were changing or something like that, but I didn't want to come here before August, so that was another month ahead. So I thought, well, I have that coming in the mail, but I will not be changing my address until August, like that's another month, so it should be fine, like it should be okay, and it will probably reach me like in a couple of days because it had been a month already. So I was pretty relaxed and I was pretty okay with it. But the thing is, like 2 weeks before I moved, like middle July, I received a letter from my customs service saying that the thing was in customs and they need extra like information, yada yada yada. And I was like, well, okay, I will send you the extra information. So like the day that I got the letter, I emailed them all the information that they need, which was just my contributor's number. I don't even know how you call it. That it's not social security, it's another number that we have here for taxes. I sent them that, and I sent them the receipt that I have from eBay from my purchase. That's the only thing that they needed. Also, we'll get there. Wait, we'll get there. We'll get there. Also, no, if this is relevant to this part of the story, so we'll get into this right now. So, my country had this rule where everything under 45 euros you wouldn't have to pay taxes, because things that you import, if it's under 45 euros you wouldn't have to pay taxes, you wouldn't have to pay anything. But apparently they changed their rule and now the limit is 22 euros. Now I didn't know about this, and the order I made was 40 euros. So my country had this rule where anything that you purchased under 45 euros you wouldn't have to pay taxes. So I was pretty relaxed because the order that I made was like 40 something euros. So I was like, oh, okay, I don't understand why they're asking me for more documentation and more receipts, because I'm not supposed to pay taxes. I mean, this is under 45, so I thought that was a little bit confusing, but I just thought that they wanted to make sure that the buyer was not underpricing the items or something like that. So I sent them the receipt, and then I went to check the laws again, and apparently a few months prior, like in March or May or something like that, they changed the legislation. They changed the law, and apparently now it's under 22 euros. Now, I didn't know this, because if I did know this at the time, I would have made 2 separate purchases to make sure that I would get the 22, since that seller doesn't charge for shipping. So I would have split the parcels, because this is another thing. In Portugal, they don't give you any information at all when things change. Like, you have to dig pretty deeply, and sometimes even not on the places that they're supposed to be, like the appropriate websites and something like that, things like that. The information is not like readily available for you. Like, you have to read like 1,000 lines until you find the little piece that you want to know. So I found that out. I was extremely pissed, because now I knew that I would have to pay taxes on top of the money that I've spent, and on top of having to wait like a month and a half for my package. Also, I had already paid like 20 something euros, because that's the thing, like, taxes are like half the price of the things that you buy, which is insane, because that's not how the laws are supposed to work. That's not how they are supposed to tax things. But since they are from the government, it's not like you can say anything about it, which it pisses me extremely, because you cannot say anything. They put just the prices that they want with it. And I already paid like 23 euros for my Mini MUA palette from Makeup Geek, which is a whole nother story. And when I finally get that in my hands, I will do another separate video about it, but it's just a whole other drama. But so I knew that I would have to pay customs by this time, but I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I just wanted to come in the mail. Like, 20 euros isn't really that much. I don't care. I just want to have it before I go away. Because the thing is, if you go away, the only person that can pick up your things in the post office is you, or somebody else in your name, but you have to sign it. Like, you have to have they give you like a little ticket if you're not home to go pick up your stuff, and you have to sign the ticket. So me being like 100 kilometers away, I wouldn't be able to sign it. So I was like, no, I need it now. I need to have it before I go. So it came like August 6th or August 8th, August 9th, I don't even remember when I came here, but it came that day when I had to change my address, and I still didn't know anything about my package. It was still stuck in customs, like more than 15 days, like more than 2 weeks after I gave them their papers. It was still stuck in customs, and I sent them several emails telling them that I needed with urgency, because I was going to change my address, and if I could change my address to another place, because I was changing my address, because I didn't know that it was going to take so long. So I got a few computerized kind of things of messages telling me that my email was being processed, something like that, like my request was being processed, that's the word that I wanted. And that really pissed me off, because it was kind of an urgent thing. Like, I was going to change my address, I was going to change houses, but whatever, I changed houses, and like middle August they finally replied telling me that I couldn't change my address, like only the seller, like the shipper, could change my address. So I asked my eBay seller to change the address, and he's changed the address, and I thought everything was fine. Like, I thought everything was okay, because supposedly that was the only thing that I needed. So a couple of days passed, and we're now into September, and I noticed that the by this point I did not purchase my order with tracked shipping, which was ridiculous of me, I know, but at the customs, when I received that letter, they gave me a tracking number, which was, you know, issued by customs. They issued a tracking number so I could see my status update, something like that. And I noticed that the status update was like not I don't remember the exact words, or it's not like I can remember, like I can't really translate it that well, but it was something like wrong district, didn't pick up, something like that. I was like, wait, but nobody came here. Like, that morning where that shipping date was actualized. Then some few days after this, I noticed that the status update had changed for something like wrong shipment, wrong district, something like, yeah, wrong. Because you know the post office have their own areas, like, so wrong area, the receiver didn't pick up, something like that. And I was like, well, but nobody came here, like nobody came to this house to ring the bell for me to get my stuff, and even if they did, I don't have any tickets, so there's no way that I didn't pick up because they didn't come here. So it's not like I didn't pick up. It's not like pick up, it's like I didn't answer. That's what's happening. The status update say that I didn't answer, but they didn't come here and they didn't leave me the ticket. So I was like, what's going on? I don't understand this. So I decided to call them because I was worried where the freak my package was, and I knew that I only had like a week before it went back to China, and I sure as hell didn't want that, because at this point, like at this time of the month, like after 2 or 3 months, I'm pretty sure that eBay will not refund my money because it's been way too long. So I decided to call them because they have a number for you to call. So I called them and I was like, look, this is what happened. I thought everything was okay. I'm not sure what's happening. I just want to make sure that things are okay, and it was a mistake on somebody's part, and this is coming to my house. So here's what happened. Apparently, the address that they had was the area code was okay. It was this area code, but the street name and the door number was from my previous address. So somebody in customs decided that they only wanted to change my area code and left everything the same. So what happened is that that address doesn't exist because it's not, the street name and the area code is not the same. So I asked them, well, can you change them? Can you do anything to correct this mistake? Because this wasn't my mistake, and this wasn't a seller's mistake. This was a mistake by somebody in customs that put the address wrong, because I'm pretty sure that me and the seller both put the addresses correctly. And the lady at the phone was like, oh yeah, sure, just give me the right address and I will change it for you and everything will be okay. And I gave her the right address and she was like, yeah, everything is okay. Let's do this. And then the call was cut off because I ran out of money, because I have to pay to call, which is like ridiculous. I have like, this is ridiculous because I have a subscription on my phone which lets me call other numbers without paying, like whatever, and I had to pay for that number, like specifically pay for that number. So okay, and I ran out of like so I ran out of money on my phone and the call was cut off. I had to call from another phone. Of course it wasn't the same person, and I had to explain the whole situation again. And the lady was like, oh, but like the lady was dumb as a door, like she was pretty stupid, and she was like, oh, yeah, I can't see if the address was correct, I don't know. And I was like, but look, the other lady told me everything was okay, I just need to make sure that the address is right, like can you please check it? Oh, I think if she did it, like I think it is okay, I think it must be all right. So let's just wait a day or two and we'll see how it goes, and then you can issue a complaint. And yeah, so that's what I did. I trusted them, and I waited like 1 or 2 days. That was my freaking mistake. I shouldn't have trusted. And now when I went to see the status update, apparently it's going back to China because it's already at customs again. So I called again and I said, look, this is what happened. I know what the mistake was. Like somebody in customs changed the address and they pooped out, and I want it fixed. I wanted to come here. And the lady was like, well, but that's not possible. I don't know who told you that they changed the address, but it's not possible to change the address. But I'm like, and I was like, that's, something is going on here, because that lady told me that she had changed the address, so she probably lied to me, which is pretty bad that she lied. So you better make sure that she lied to me, because I'm getting really pissed with this. And yeah, somebody has to change the address because the area code was different. And she was like, oh, are you sure that you put the right address? And I was like, yes, because I wasn't even sure that I didn't have the idea that I was gonna change the address before I purchased that. So there's no way that I would have put the wrong address, the wrong area codes. So somebody at customs had to make that mistake. So since it's your mistake, like, you should fix it. I shouldn't waste, like I shouldn't lose my money because you guys made a mistake. Like it was your mistake, not mine. You were the ones that changed the address wrongly. And she was like, oh, but now there's nothing we can do. So now basically I don't have my stuff because it's going back. I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do. And yeah. So this was just like one of the many incidents with the post office service. Like another time I had something stuck in customs. It was like a Lolita clothing lucky pack, and me and a friend of mine, we both bought the same thing, like the same exact thing in the same exact day. It went to customs the same exact day, and it was to the same exact country. Like we both live in Portugal, we both live in, well, she lived in Lisbon, I lived in Caldas, but like we both lived in the same country. It was from the same country, the same thing, and I paid 2 more euros than she did for customs, like customs fees. So I don't understand how the same thing that was like the same value, the same everything, and I had to pay a different price from her. Well, this just show you how random and how unorganized customs and Portuguese like mail system in general works. Like it's terrible. Like with my many like with my many MUA palette, it was a whole different drama. Like it was another drama for me to get my stuff. I got it, not thanks to them, because they weren't helpful, but I will make a separate video about that. But yeah, I'm since June trying to get my stuff and I still haven't, and I probably never will. Now hopefully the seller will have good faith and they will refund the money, because I know that eBay won't help me anymore at this point, because I didn't, like the seller was sort of helpful. They were like, oh, we'll refund you the money. I was like, no, you don't need to refund the money because I just want my stuff. Like I want my stuff and I know how to get it. I just need you to change the address. Like that was pretty simple. Like they just needed to change the address. But okay. Another thing that pisses me off about our mail system is that most of the times, like not every time, but most of the times, like when you have big parcels or parcels that you have to sign, like the mailman just rings the bells and run. They ring the bell and they run. Well, it's not like that, but it's almost like that. Like they give you no time whatsoever. Like for example, if you're in the bath or you're pooping or something like that, it doesn't give you the time. Even if you're just laying down in bed or just in the sofa, sometimes it doesn't give you the time to get up and go to the door. Just ring and go. Like wait 1 minute or something and then they go. Like they don't give you the time. Like this happens so many times, and I have a friend of mine which this happens to her like every freaking time. Like every time she has something to receive from the post office, like they just ring the bell, leave the note and go. Like they don't give her any time to rush to the door to sign. Like no. Plus all the things that are missing, like stuff just randomly disappears. But I think that's just a general thing that happens. There was this one time, another incident, which was pretty ridiculous. Like, I had the ticket where I had to go to the post office to get my stuff, and I had that ticket, and I went to the post office, which you wait like an hour to be your turn, whatever. But I was already pissed for having to wait so long for my turn, and I went there and I gave the lady my ticket, and she took like 10-15 minutes trying to search. And she took like 10-15 minutes to search for my stuff, and she came back and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, but it's not here. And I was like, and she took like 10 or 15 minutes to search for my stuff, and she came back and told me, oh, sorry, but your stuff isn't here. So I was like, that's impossible. Like, I have the ticket, it says that it's here, so you have to search better because it has to be here, or else you guys are responsible for losing my stuff. And she was like, oh, but it's not here. Are you sure you didn't get it at home? And I was like, if I had it at home, would I have come here to pick up my stuff? And she said, well, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes people get their stuff and they forget that they have the ticket and they come here. And I was like, no, I wouldn't come here if I had a ticket. So she went again with her cocky look like, okay, I'm gonna search again, but I'm pretty sure it's not here. and she kept searching again, like more 10 or 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure that she just pretended to have searched, but whatever. And she came back and she was like searching for the things that were behind like one of the balconies, I don't know how to call it, but she was searching one part of the place and she was like, and she came back and she said, well, it's not here, I've searched, are you sure you didn't get this at home? And at this point I was really pissed off and I told her, lady, I have the ticket here. If I had gotten this at home, do you think that I would come here, waste my time, wasted 1 hour for my turn to get something that I already had? Also, how would I have my stuff and the tickets? If I had my stuff, I wouldn't have this ticket. So if I have this ticket, it means that I want my stuff. At this point, because I was raising my voice a little bit, another guy heard, which I think it was like the supervisor or something, and he came and he was like, okay, but can you explain what's happening? Why is this lady getting so angry? And I explained the situation, and he was like, well, have you searched right? Like, it has to be here. And the lady was like, oh, yeah, I've searched everything, it's not here, like the girl must have received this at home or something. And the supervisor said, well, have you checked this box? And there was a box right behind her counter with stuff that had just came in for sorting or something. And she looked and she was like, oh no, I forgot to search there. And he went to check it and surprise, surprise, my parcel was there, right behind her ass. So yeah, like post service here is awful. It's ridiculous and I am so pissed off, and now I have no idea how I'm gonna get my stuff. If, like, I'm at this point where I want my stuff, but if I at least get my money back, it will be enough. I will do another purchase, whatever, I will wait again. But I am really pissed off. I am, because we always have problems like this. Between the random taxes that they put, like, they don't have any logical way of putting taxes on stuff. They just put whatever value they want that's like slightly like the things, like, just do it random. And even if you have something, if they don't think that's the price that you paid for, even if you have receipts, they just make up a different price. Like, for example, if I bought this camera for 200 euros, like used or something, if they thought that I didn't pay 200 euros, even if I had receipts, they would like, no, but this camera sells here for 600, so there's no way that you pay 200, so you're gonna pay taxes for 600 because you're probably lying to us. Like, even if you have receipts, if you have proofs that you paid 200 for it, you will have to pay taxes for 600 because it just said so. Because they just think that you paid that money. It's insane, it's ridiculous. Also, the waiting times, there's no excuse. There's no excuse that they had to have my parcel for 2 months in custom. Like, there's no way. They had my parcel in customs for like the beginning of July, and only the beginning of September it's when it got released. So there's no excuse for them to have it for 2 whole months. That's just ridiculous for me. Like, they can say it's vacations, that they can say that I have a lot of stuff. Like, I don't care. 2 months, it's way too long. Way too long. It's not acceptable, especially if they had the papers like the day that I got my letter. Like, if they had the papers so soon, it's not excusable that they took 2 months to get it out of customs. Like, no way. No way. Like, and I'm not even talking about normal things like stealing packagings, like miscarriaging, like people dropping things and kicking them, which I have. Like, one day I saw like a parcel like sitting on the floor in the street, like, which obviously was dropped by somebody, and I was like, this is just lying in the middle of the street and this is for somebody, it's clearly not here. And actually I did took that time, to actually go to the right address to put it in their mail, because I thought that if it happened to me I would be devastated, like a mailman dropping things. Like, that just proves that the whole system is just insane, and they have no care whatsoever, because you're paying, and you're not paying that too little for your shipping. Like, it's not that cheap. So if you're paying for a service, I think you should have that service. Like, for example, I have an Etsy store, and every time I have to I always ship signing, like, with a tracking number, because I want to avoid most trouble that I can. But every freaking time I have to ship something to the United States, I swear to God that just as soon as it leaves our country, like, there's no tracking information whatsoever. I don't know why the post office here doesn't make sure that the tracking number, which I am paying for, because I am paying for it, I am paying to make sure that I have a tracking number. So I have no idea why the post office doesn't go to the trouble that making sure that that tracking number is working from the time that I put it in the counters to the time that it arrives to the destination. Like, it baffles my mind. But okay, like, I'm paying for a service, I'm paying for the tracking, so the tracking better freaking work, okay? Okay, I think that I've ranted way too long. Again, I try to make shorter videos because I know you guys get bored when videos are way too long. But I am so pissed, and also I'm slightly sick today. Just, there's so much stuff going on. I'm just extremely pissed about this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video anyways. Subscribe if you're not already. Let's be friends. Put a like on it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!